We have campaign comedy, the live role-playing game coming up next.
All right.
And we will...
Hello, everyone. We are Campaign Comedy, presented by Hot Chocolate Media. And I have one tiny correction to make. Our website is hotchocolatemedia.net, because some asshole will not sell me the .com domain.
Do you know how to character sheet?
I don't know where mine is.
Or move over a seat.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to get things going. We're going to have a few seconds to make sure we're recording.
I'm going to scoot back here.
There's a story behind that from last year, but
I
it's
think
all
I'm in the
good.
hidden spot.
So, what is Campaign Comedy? Well, Campaign Comedy was a brainchild of Andrea Rapella, a fearless member at the end, where she wanted to get some of the funniest people she knew to play role-playing games. And here we are. And it started off playing some Call of Cthulhu originally, and it was really funny. Eric was involved in the original part of that. So was Lauren. Jacob here on the end did some production work on it. He's my fellow hotchocolatemedia.net compatriot. Last year we did a really fun game called Sean Bean Quest, and we have many of the same cast returning, including Melissa Karcher and Lauren and Eric and Andrea. And we have a new victim for the slaughter or participant in First Stirs.
You can't. I'm a very willing victim in this case. This is. I'm geeked out about this.
So you may be wondering, how do you follow up Sean Bean Quest, where Eric played a fart-powered corgi for most of the 90 minutes? Yes, that happened. You can look up the video. Well, we're going to play a game called Monster of the Week. Monster of the Week from Evil Hat Publications. It is a pretty sweet game where we have a team of monster hunters in the vein of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or the X-Files. And they're going to have a monster that I've created for them, and they've got to hunt it down and stop it before the monster destroys the world or Sunnyvale or whatever the frick we're dealing with right now. But there's a twist. But first, I'm going to give an introduction here. Let me pull this up. And I've got a little mood music for everybody. All right. Make sure I play. Here we are. Los Angeles, the city of angels, Tinseltown, Hollywood, long the bastion of the rich and famous. A pale haze hangs over the city. Plumes of smoke cover the horizon as fires have erupted all over the metropolis. The Hollywood sign is ablaze and the city streets are littered with car wrecks, debris, and the bodies of the slain. A terrible monster and his army have beset the city, and after tonight, they will spread across the country in wide release, spelling certain doom for the world. Summoned by the combined energies of billions of fans screaming out in desperation, the pure essence of Nicolas Cage has formed itself into corporeal beings from the infernal art of his magnificent films. One by one, they step out of the ether into the material plane. Our reality stands at the precipice of doom, and its only hope is the greatest team of monster hunters ever formed, Team Nicolas Cage. So, I'm going to have our cages introduce themselves and their monster hunting prowess. How about at the end there?
They call me the Wicker Man. Edward Malis. I'm a cop, you know. I'll have you know I'm a cop. I'm from California.
I'm Edward Lowe, a literary agent. I'm a goddamn vampire!
I'm National Treasure Nick Cage. My teeth never part. My name is Ben Gates.
Roy Waller here from Matchstick Men, and I am a recovering con artist.
I'm Castor Troy, motherfuckers!
It seems our Wicker Man Nick Cage went to investigate something in a bag, but go ahead, last Nicolas Cage.
My name is John Milton. I escaped from hell to rescue my granddaughter from the clutches of a cult and stole the devil's own gun to do it.
And you have a sweet muscle car.
I do.
It's a hell power muscle car.
That's correct.
So as you stand in the city streets, you've all appeared in the same place. You're all probably fairly aroused by the sight of each other. I mean, you're looking at yourself. An overturned Hostess van, wheels still spinning, Hostess cupcakes spread across the highway. The driver is sitting there wounded, his leg pinned across the ground, but he's alive and he's terrified like he's seen something.
I got this. I'm a cop. You! What are you doing?
Oh, Nicolas Cage, what are you doing here?
No, it's Edward. Edward Malis.
Oh, okay, Nick Cage. Well, there's something going. The CDC says Saturday Night Fever has taken over all of Los Angeles, and they've declared it a no-go zone.
That makes sense. Hostess was founded in 1921, and around that time is when they had the first outbreak of Saturday Night Fever. So seeing this truck in this position, that points us towards our problem.
Off in the distance, you hear a wolf howl. Woo!
That sounds like a bear.
I immediately summon minions to bring me a box containing chiclets and 2 guns.
Out of nowhere, apparently a bunch of really cool-looking, silk-suited, with tattoos and piercings, kind of John Woo film-esque gangsters come out of nowhere, delivering the package to Castor Troy, including a pair of nickel-plated Colt 45 pistols.
That makes sense because in 1921, when Hostess was founded, there were a lot of gangs, so those little gangsters make perfect sense.
I want to interview every one of you. I want to interview every one of them.
All right, all of collectively this group, why don't you make a sharp roll for me? So we're using the Monster of the Week system. They're just going to roll 2d6, and they have some basic stats like tough, cool, weird is... You think weird is a stat with Nicolas Cage for sure, but it's like how well you wield magic and supernatural things. Cool is how much you're under pressure. Sharp is kind of your overall brain power. So yeah, make a sharp roll for me.
I'm actually going to use Tactical Genius because this is particularly a bad situation because there are bad guys that just walked in, and I'm a good guy, so...
All right, go for it.
That means I got 12.
12, so that is...
That's a good roll.
You all need to each tell our top Cage here one truth about yourselves.
One truth?
One truth about yourselves.
I know the truth. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Every night Sharon comes and feeds on me, sucks my blood.
It turns out my medication is a placebo.
I could eat a peach for hours.
I'm pretty sure I hate all of you.
All right, so the man under the Hostess van meekly raises his arms. Hey, Nicolas Cages, could you maybe help lift this van off my knees so I could get some medical attention? I'm starting to see spots.
Are you sure you didn't deserve that van to fall on you?
I was just driving and this shambling creature got in the way and I whirred.
All right, shut up. Fine.
Wait, it might be on fire.
It's not on fire.
I'll try and help him.
All right, why don't you roll a tough roll for me?
5.
So as you go to do it, you reach down and you lift with all your might, and your sweet leather pants from hell split right down the middle, revealing the secrets of John Milton, Nicolas Cage.
I'm gonna use my vampire's powers to help him.
Also roll a tough roll.
That's a 9.
So you
Wait, no,
rip
that's an 8. I have -1 tough.
You rip the door off somehow, but you manage to cut your hand on the glass from the door when you do it. The guy's like, holy crap, man. He just takes off and he runs off towards the distance. And as you do it, you see a group of figures come at him, and then you hear a scream as he's ripped to pieces.
In case anyone's listening to this, Fur is wearing a pair of like cartoon-ass vampire fangs.
It's all he could afford.
My fangs aren't growing in.
From the distance, the creatures shambling in the distance, you hear some sounds. Cantaloupe. What? We need is more cowbell.
Oh no!
Boom.
No.
No. It's just as you all expected. It's the Walking Dead.
I take out my gun and immediately start mowing them down.
I join him.
So you're gonna do a move called Kick Some Ass. There's a Kick Some Ass roll. If you have a weapon or anything, that gives a bonus to it. Typically, you roll tough for it. So anyone who wants to get into the fray can make a kick.
I would like to use my 2 guns that I already have pulled.
Yes.
And I would like to slow motion leap to the side with sparks flying behind me as I shoot.
For your epic John Woo description, you can have +1 to your roll on top of whatever anything.
If I roll really well, can I get doves?
Yes.
Awesome.
But it is already in slow motion.
Yeah, that's okay. Somehow that makes it better. 6.
6. And did you add your tough to that roll?
Yeah, it's a 0.
Oh.
I don't know what you did this.
So as Castor Troy jumps in the air, everyone he's slow motion and everyone else is normal and is quite slow. And the guns and everything go off, and he unloads both magazines from the guns, and they go completely over the heads of the Walking Dead. He lands on the ground, and there's just a pigeons on there looking at him.
I will make my attack
pigeons?
a glorious 3D money shot where I raise the gun right up to the barrel of the lens of the camera that no one can see. And then I will fire into the groups of the Walking Dead.
All right.
There's also a 6.
Oh boy.
As you go to do that, out of frame, no one sees is a sleek black Chrysler comes out of nowhere and hits you, knocking you off, and you fly up to the air towards the camera in your own sweet 3D money shot, and you land
Expressionless.
Yeah. Thanks to your hellish powers, you are not dead. And out of it steps a man who has been sent from hell to bring you back.
The accountant. I should have known.
I did know because the license plate.
I take a lot of pills.
He steps out of the car. He rips his glasses off maniacally. He goes, John Milton, I was sent to bring you back. But there's things out in this world worse than hell itself. Get up, you loser.
I don't take kindly to people telling me what to do.
That's fair. He gets in his car and leaves. This has as much coherent plot sense as a Nicolas Cage film. At least the ones of this caliber on stage.
Sorry to make that.
You notice there's no Raising Arizona or Adaptation Cage on the stage. The Walking Dead are getting closer. One of them you hear, 2 little mice. Hello, little man. 5 long years he wore this watch up his ass. They're getting closer.
I'm gonna drop both my guns, and I'm gonna use my bottle it up. That means that I can take a +3 bonus for acting under pressure, but you hold on to 3 of those too, to spend later on, giving me a -3 or -1 to each roll at a future time.
In this game, holds are just things that can happen later, and so I'm getting gifts from this cage.
All right. So I got.
Damn.
What was the roll again? Was it tough?
Tough, typically
Tough.
to kick some ass.
Okay. I got 16.
Damn.
All right, so Wicker Cage here conveniently sees a bicycle on the side of the road, and he hops on it. And he starts pedaling, and he pulls both guns. He goes no handlebars, riding towards the horde of the Walking Dead. Both guns blazing, unleashing more rounds from the chamber than any gun of that maker model should ever have. Christopher Walken heads explode left and right as Wickerman Cage is covered in a miasma of all kinds of character actor guts everywhere. And at the end, he holsters his guns and does a sweet wheelie on the bicycle and ends. And around him is a perfect circle of all of the dead, Walking Dead, except for one who's been cut in half and is gurgling and slowly crawling up to you.
I'm gonna throw chiclets at him.
Ow!
You mentioned there were pigeons about, yes?
There was one pigeon on the ground.
I have a pure drive. One emotion rules me. Pick from a list. I chose hunger. Whenever I have a chance to indulge that emotion, I must do so immediately. On my way to chase down a pigeon and eat it, I will step on the head of the Walking Dead.
Just as you do, he looks up to you and says, "The Were Travolta will get you." So now you have a clue on who the master criminal is. It's the Were Travolta.
And then I eat the pigeon. Let me roll for...
Yeah, let's see what happens.
That's an 8. What do I add to that?
For eating a
Weird,
pigeon? I
probably?
just think you eat a pigeon.
Cool.
I don't think there's a roll for eating a pigeon.
I eat the pigeon.
I just think you snap and snack and go to town. He's eating a pigeon in front of you all now.
I believe the first written record of the Were Travolta was from 1962.
If you want, you can roll an investigation roll to see if you know more, even on top of your theory. You're going to make a sharp roll.
Oh, boy.
That's a 6.
From your knowledge, Were Travoltas are popular at they love discotheques and other dance clubs. It's usually where they're found.
So it turns out that this is a clue that points us likely to another clue that is in some kind of discotheque.
I could use a beer.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
I only go to smoking bars, though.
You all are able to cram into Drive Angry Cage's sweet muscle car. Yes. But there's no seatbelts because he's too fucking cool for those.
I don't like that there's no seatbelts.
I should arrest you for this.
You're screaming again. I don't like when you're screaming. Can you just please shut up?
Okay.
Okay, good.
The drive is a bit precarious as the road is littered with debris and everything, but as you wind your way to a discotheque that is fully functional, neon lights blazing outside. There's a few of the Walking Dead rambling outside, but they appear to be forming a line at the queue of the Velvet Rope. And in the front are two normal-looking men, just normal humans, checking in the Walking Dead as they go.
I bet they're Freemasons.
There does appear to be a back alley behind the discotheque, as well as a nice valet service with Walking Dead dressed as valets.
I'd like to actually use my street smarts to get into the club. Just through the front door.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck not.
either sharp or cool roll, whatever you prefer.
Oh. Ten.
Castor Troy, thinking quickly, picks up one of the threadbare off the rack suit coats that match what most of the Walking Dead are wearing, slips it on, does his own shamble and disappears in the alley behind the discotheque.
So are these like actual like rotting zombies?
They just no, kind of. They're all doing Christopher Walken impersonations instead of the usual moaning and everything.
Any of you guys have a knife?
Sure. How big?
Big?
Pull out huge boot knife. Hand over.
Anybody want to help me grab a couple of these guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I pull out another huge boot knife.
I put on a Christopher Walken costume that I have for some reason inexplicably. And I walk up to the bouncer.
Does your nerdy friend bring it for you?
Yes. And I walk up to the bouncer and I say, "My name is Pat Brown." And I look back and go, Ben Gates doesn't get a lot of respect in the discotheque community.
Can you make a cool roll? Here.
Actually, I would like to use my see it all fits together, so that I can use sharp instead of charm when I try to manipulate someone.
Go for it.
That's an 8.
The bouncer looks at you and goes, "You don't appear to be on the list, Mr. Brown."
I pull up the badge, the Christopher Walken badge that I took a picture of and then superimposed my face on, because, you know, archaeologists and studied engineers have that ability.
And he's like, "Oh, but it must be an oversight. You and your friends can go in." So you go in the discotheque. Castor Troy's already in there. You worked your way through the kitchen, which was oddly not being used, but
How many drugs have I found already?
there's at least, 1 or 2 bricks of, movie size cocaine.
I snort it all.
Yeah. Castor Troy. So there's music.
Does she have to roll for that?
No, not with Castor Troy.
That's fair.
Because the discotheque has some music playing. Castor Troy, in a slow motion, the double doors of the kitchen emerges, both his leather jacket and leopard print silk shirt underneath flowing in the wind. It's indoors. White powder streaks his face. He doesn't care. One of the discotheque goers has a martini in hand. Castor Troy takes it out and just punches the dude. The rest of you walk in, and the place appears to be filled with lots of well-dressed partygoers wearing their discotheque best. I don't know how discotheque, but imagine from a 90s action movie how people in a discotheque.
Right.
Got it.
I'm in my elements.
I unzip the walking costume that I had to reveal a perfect tuxedo.
This music's gonna keep going in the thing space, but not really. All right.
Thank you.
Did everybody get
Go to
in?
the bar and order the strongest thing they have.
They just pour you some Everclear with an umbrella in it.
I want to run up to the DJ booth, barge in, and hold my badge up. And is there like a stage? Is it on a stage or something? Okay, I stand on the stage and kill the music and hold my badge up in the air. I want to interview every single one of you.
Oh, screaming again.
Can I roll to shoot the badge?
Yes,
held
you
up.
totally can.
Yeah!
Yeah, Castor Troy shoots the cop.
Not just the badge.
Just the badge.
Yeah. I roll do I add a thing?
Tough, I think.
Tough, or this is just being cool.
Yeah,
I think
okay,
a cool
7.
roll.
8, sorry.
8. So you shoot the badge out of the hand, but also blow the thumb off of Wicker. You get the badge and the thumb.
Yes.
And a spray of blood hits the DJ, who hadn't stopped playing music, but as soon as this happens, the record comes to a screech, and everyone stops dancing, and one woman screams, and then you hear the telltale signs of booted feet running into the discotheque.
I am going to grab the thumb, throw it at Vampire Cage, and then
Yes.
go commandeer the DJ booth.
Okay.
I need my EpiPen.
Yeah. Wicker Man Cage is laying on the ground, clutching a bloody left hand. missing a thumb. And the booted sounds you hear, you see several tactical gear-dressed individuals, except on the front of their body armor, they all have the image of John Travolta spray painted onto the front in some kind of John Travolta-esque.
Like it's like the Punisher logo.
Yeah,
it's just
but it's
like
John Travolta.
one color image of John Travolta's face.
Not the Bee Gees! Not the Bee Gees! They're in my club!
So you're surrounded by armed individuals.
Hold on. I want to take that face off.
I apologize for nothing in this shit.
I want to shoot the fuck out of everything.
All right. If you have any powers, I'm assuming you emerge from the DJ booth.
Yeah, I have the assassin thing. What does that do?
That gives you a bonus when you want to try and kill someone they don't know you're there. And I'm gonna say if you're behind the DJ booth.
Okay, I'm gonna pop up out of the DJ booth and rain hellfire upon anything that has the face of John Travolta on it.
All right. And as you do it, your chain wallet comes undone and hits the DJ booth, and the music re-emerges.
Cool.
Just roll and tell me what you get. We'll
Okay,
see what
okay.
happens.
But what am I rolling against?
Use whatever your highest stat is because you're doing cool shit.
Okay, awesome.
I'm playing loose and fast with the rules, guys.
11.
That is a high success. So in full slow motion, and somehow the DJ booth had 2 live dove cages behind them. Doves emerges. Castor Troy, Nicolas Cage, raises out of the DJ booth with double, and without looking, he just starts firing. And in slow motion, the tactical Travolta troopers, bullets hit their knees and legs in drag fashion, and glass falls. People are running, and for everyone else, the slow motion is real, but you can move normally still. And this is happening around you. Bullets are flying. What would everyone else like to do?
I grab a dove out of the air and eat it.
I hold up a convenient plot device and use it to block all the shots because, fortunately, people can't aim for legs or hands.
I'm just going to kill the music. Let's just get the mood here.
To be clear, I'm protecting myself, not anyone else.
Oh, that's abundant.
I will almost lazily assist with the fight. Like, I'll continue sitting at the bar and drinking my drink, but then I'll just kind of point my gun over and shoot a little bit.
Eventually, as you do it, the thugs, and all of a sudden, a man from the balcony above, because there's always a balcony with a glass office, fires a machine gun into the ceiling in the air and says, "Enough." All of the are dead, and was like, who dares come to John Travolta's club and does such things? Announce yourselves. He doesn't look like John Travolta. He's just some dude.
I shoot him.
Now hold on. We should interview this guy. Should ask him a question.
Make the roll. Jesus Christ, Castor Troy.
This is fun. Oh shit. Oh, that's like. That's not great. But I've got that. 5.
All right. Your gun jams, and he presses a button. Somewhere out of the floor, 2 giant magnetic boots come out and lock onto your feet.
Damn it!
Pull you into the ground, and you're just stuck there.
Ah!
I too have seen that movie.
I know you have.
The bleeding one seems to want to talk and seems to be the leader. What say the rest of you?
I would like to dress as a disco boot salesman to go up there to talk to him to try to take all his money.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can roll it. I think cool is you're just going to try and talk your way out of or through this.
Cool or charm?
Oh, yeah, charm. Totally.
Great. I got 11.
Hell yeah.
11. So, seemingly out of nowhere, the Matchstick Man cage just disappears, and then out of from behind cover where people were hiding comes a very suave-looking gentleman wearing the finest Italian leather boots you've ever seen.
Hair slicked back?
Yes. Walks up the stairway to the businessman and
Struts.
Struts. And what do you say to him? He's completely enthralled by you.
Hello, my good man. I am here to tell you something that I think you cannot refuse. What size boot are you?
Oh, I think I'm like an 8.5.
Excellent, excellent. Do I have the pair of shoes for you? If you would please just welcome me into your office, and I think we have some things to discuss.
Sure, I somehow compelled to. This seems like an inconvenient time to be distracted by one member of a group while the rest of the hostile group is in there and can do any kind of investigation into my nefarious plans. But you said fine leather boots?
That's right.
Please.
The finest of the leathers.
Show me. So the man disappears with the Matchstick Man cage. At least maybe that was. He's very much smoother. And now you have free reign of the place as everyone else is left on the hail of gunfire.
So I'm going to grab a glass from one of the guards that had rushed in, put it in a plastic bag with some chemicals, and then wait so that I can lift the fingerprint onto a piece of latex that I have around my thumb. All of these ingredients that I somehow had hidden in my tuxedo.
I pull out my cell phone and hold it in the air.
I lead all of us to the room that we're gonna go in to get to the secret area. I was in this club last night, you see, and you'll have to forgive me. I was drunk and horny, and needed somewhere to take care of that. And there's a secret room back here with lots of important looking files.
So what I would like everyone to do is, while Matchstick Man cage is miraculously distracting in an epic level, I want everyone to make a sharp roll to investigate a mystery to get some clues about the Were Travolta.
Oh boy. I hope someone had a better roll than I did.
7.
6.
7.
6.
6.
I continue to sit at the bar and basically
within arm's reach of me and my steel boots.
So
is there anything I can smoke or punch?
Yeah, there's a discotheque. There's totally a joint on the ground. Some of you got a 7 though. That is a mixed result success. And what you do
I'm used
find,
to those.
Yeah, everyone who rolled a 7 finds amongst all the on one of the guards, you find a pair of tickets to the Hollywood Bowl, partially bloodied and everything with the damage from the battle, and it's for a show this evening. And you can't make out who it's for and everything, but another 1-7 finds the same pair of tickets on one of the other guards.
I take the tickets, and I cut my thumb and put some of my own blood on it. And then I roll the ticket on a piece of paper that I had in my pocket so that I can see the words that were on the ticket.
The ticket says, "Nobody's staying alive. An evening with John Travolta."
Oh boy.
I think the John Travolta they're referencing in this ticket is actually, stay with me here, the Were Travolta.
Shrewd investigative techniques, and I would know. I'm a cop.
Meanwhile, in the office, somehow Matchstick Man Nicolas Cage has open up 3 fine suitcases with many samples of what looks like expensive boots, but in reality are $14 Chinese knockoffs. Man's very interested and has tried on several pairs. And if you'd like to make a investigative mystery roll to see if you can find anything in his office.
Yes.
While you're distracting him with the boots.
Give us some good. Come on.
Thank you.
You got this.
Oh, I got
Hell
an
yeah.
11 again.
Well, he's trying on a very rather difficult to get on pair of shoes. You notice on his desk a map of Los Angeles and a map of the rest of the United States with very key red flags and circles on it. It looks rather important.
Great. Is there also a safe in the room?
There is not that you can see, obviously. It's probably hidden behind a picture frame or something.
Okay.
Like you do in movies.
Is there any like money on the table as well? Can I steal everything? Is what I want to know.
Yeah, there's some money on the table. There's some more Coke on a glass mirror because it's a discotheque in an action movie. Kind of an action movie.
Roy Waller's not particularly interested in the cocaine, but I do want the money in the map.
He has a very nice gold fountain pen as well.
That I will also take. That's more Lauren talking than Roy, but I'm taking it.
So
I approve of your choices.
The man decides to buy all of your shoes. He's so impressed by them in your sales pitch. And he goes to a picture frame on the wall and moves it aside and starts entering the code.
Excellent.
What would you like to do? I'll take them all, he says. They're the best.
Oh, I think there's I think this is the voice I was using. I'm tired, guys. I think that's a very great choice of yours. If you would just close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in these boots, in all of these boots, just rolling in a pile of boots. Just like sit in that chair across from everything, as the room is now with the safe open, and just imagine yourself in there. And I would like to roll my charm again to make him do this.
Specifically making him
9.
manipulate someone. Yeah, that's a success. He goes, well, you've been so helpful before. Just sit in that chair and close my eyes? Really?
That's right.
It'll
I feel
make these shoes better?
that, your gratification with it will match the value of all of these shoes.
I get when you use an expert, it's okay. And he sits down and closes his eyes because he trusts you.
And I take it all and I leave.
9's not quite a perfect success. As you're leaving,
Okay.
you have everything in hand.
My
He
gold
opens
pen.
his eyes a half second too early.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, What is this? And he reaches for his gun to go after you, but you have a chance to get away.
Okay.
You can make a sharp roll to read a bad situation and decide the best thing to do.
Okay.
Can we actually hear the noise now?
You hear it now.
I want to help out with leave no one behind.
Okay.
Where I roll a sharp roll as well.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
I got 12.
12. So Max Stickman Cage notices the grand chandelier there has a nice cord, and you're able to loosen it and just grab it and lower to the floor, Errol Flynn style, without anything.
I got an 11. That mean on a 10 plus, I help out. I get them out clean. It says.
Yep. So what you do, you find like just through dumb luck, while you're looking for another rag to stop the bleeding on your thumb, you see the switch that says magnetic boots, and you hit it, and the magnetic boots on Castor Troy release immediately, and the lights go off, so the man chasing you can't see you all. Yet you all are able to sneak out of the back of the discotheque with your ill-gotten gains and information safely.
Am I still in the boots?
No, they hit the button with Wicker Man's Cage. Leave no one behind. Was able to assist everybody. So no more magnetic boots. All right. So you're now outside the discotheque. You have your maps and cash stolen by the Matchstick Men Cage maps, and you have your tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. What would you like to do next, Nicolas Cages?
I will rejoin the group now. It's the second act of the movie, and I assume that we're like we've sort of bonded in a weird way.
I mean, Hollywood Bowl, right?
Is there a fire and sparks factory in the way?
So if you think you're going to enter, in this game, you think you're going to enter a confrontation, maybe with a Were Travolta at the Hollywood Bowl, you can do some things to prepare yourselves for the battle that may, if it's a battle or a confrontation, that may better suit you. So you have some information, you have some cash on you, significant amounts of cash. So you can maybe, if you think you're going to confront the Were Travolta, now is the sweet Sam Raimi style gear up montage. Or the Ocean's 11 plan, whatever you want to do.
I summon my minions and get more clips for my guns.
Does this club have a basement? Perhaps with an armory in it?
Not this particular one. There is a hostile, but maybe there's something to do with the maps or something you found.
Can I look at the pen?
No.
Can anybody help me get a new thumb?
Sometimes you have to do what's right. Sometimes you have to stand up when other people won't stand up and do what they need to do. And sometimes you need to do something illegal, so I'm going to steal that pen.
I want the pen. So you can either try and manipulate someone, or that's probably manipulate someone to try and steal the pen.
So I get to use see it all fits together, and I get to use sharp instead.
Okay.
So that is a 9.
A 9. You're able to slip it out of Matchstick Men Cage's pocket, but as you do, you snag it on a thread and you hit it, and you get it cleanly. But all of a sudden, one of the pockets on Matchstick Men's thing opens, and many of the stolen things spill onto the ground.
Oh no.
I quickly put it inside my jacket, where I have another exact pen that has a big sticker that says it is a replica pen.
Is there a random passerby whose thumb I can cut off and give to Wicker Man Cage?
Yes.
Excellent.
So there's just a humble Hollywood jogger kind of oblivious to the carnage going around the city. They have their headphones on. So you want to roll some kick some ass and have a +2 to it because they don't know you're coming.
Sure. What am I rolling against?
Kick some ass is usually tough.
Oh, tough. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's a 9.
Yeah, so as it comes by, you calmly look around and you see that there's just a piece of rebar on the ground. You just pick it up as the jogger comes by. You just kind of whip it right in their face and knock it out, and there they are, 2 perfectly good thumbs available.
I take out a butterfly knife, cut off a thumb. Does he have any smokes on him? Does he have any cigarettes?
Yeah, no, not a jogger. No, no. That's a pretty easy answer. No smokes.
Yeah, you don't know the joggers I know. So I take the thumb. I go to Wicker Man Kitchen. Sorry.
Thanks. I just stick it on.
I'll try and use some devil magic to reattach the thumb.
Okay, this is going to be using your weird stat. Use magic.
That is an 8.
All right, so
Flames
some weird
are produced from my fingertips, and it's sealed back on.
But as you do, it's not a full success. As you do, you notice that on the right hand, you've put the left thumb in your victim. So your thumb is perfectly attached through devil magic, but now your fingernail is on the inside instead of the outside, and it bends the opposite way.
Gross. That's amazing.
It's like the first thumb transplant performed by the Freemasons back in 1746.
So as you're all discussing and performing devil thumb surgery.
I again have to use my pure drive at this point. There's an opportunity to feed, and so I'm going to feed on the jogger.
So, Vampire's Kiss Nicolas Cage just like throws. By now, his suit is his nice, super expensive suit is ragged and covered in blood and feathers from the birds he's eaten, and he's just sucking on the wound thumb of this gentleman on the ground. If anyone wants to do anything.
So, is there like a street light nearby?
Yes, there's totally a street light nearby here. Cause
I'm gonna walk over to the street light and I'm gonna hold up the pen into the light dramatically, and I'm gonna slowly pull it apart and try to investigate it to see if I can find any clues to the where Travolta's weaknesses on this seemingly innocuous
there
pen.
Trying to figure out a
weakness. Interlocking rings within that pen, clearly.
So I'm going to use connect the dots.
Yep. And this is, figure out a weakness is a thing to before you fight.
That is a 9, which means I get an extra hold with it.
Yes.
So I can ask you a question, and I'm going to use that question. Is this Is this connected to a previous mysteries we've investigated?
It is associated somehow with the Were Travolta.
I knew it.
What about that map?
Yeah, you can investigate a mystery with that map.
Hey,
and,
you.
You can have a +2 because you got a big clue there.
Can I take that map and run it through the police database?
I guess so. Can I also pick up all the other cash to make sure it doesn't get left behind? Great.
Totally.
I've done that.
So, Wicker Man Cage, if you want to make an investigation roll, investigate a mystery on those maps.
5. Or I'm sorry, 11.
11. Oh, there's a big difference. You notice on the map, they seem to be location to several warehouses, and they seem to be places that if something were to happen, they would equally distribute the pathogen that causes Saturday Night Fever, which turns people into Were Travoltas.
We have to burn every one of them.
And you're pretty sure the more Were Travoltas are out there, the more the alpha Were Travolta will get strong. So it's definitely a way to weaken them.
Well, and according to the Silence Do-Good letters, Were Travoltas normally live in warehouses.
God.
So
I couldn't help it.
At least one of the warehouses is within walking distance of your current location.
I'm gonna punch a corpse and dress in it and dress in the corpse to sneak into the warehouse.
I go up to the worker to check in with him that I'm there. Hi, I'm Peter Lowe. I work at this warehouse. I should be on your system.
So he's talking to a dumpster. The guard checks over here, and Vampire's Kiss Nicolas Cage is having this heart-to-heart talk with the dumpster.
And I came to this city and I became a literary manager, and I feel so much for Sharon. Such a beautiful name.
So he's continuing this conversation in detail. The rest of you, you're outside this warehouse. There's a single lone guard shack with a dim light coming from it. There seems to be someone inside it.
I summon my brother and I design a bomb with really inappropriate 1990s graphics interface.
Yeah, it's.
I will collect a pigeon and cut it, and then just kind of like dangle it so we can pull.
Did you say pigeon?
Vampire's Kiss Cage towards the gate.
So
I can walk it up. The bomb, not
the bomb.
pigeon.
All right. So for this plan to work, let's make a. This is an act under pressure. You're dealing with a bomb with cool 90s interface technology. This is acting under pressure because you're having to type fast. On the keyboard as 3D graphics fly out of the screen showing the insides of a computer.
Do we get the projection across our faces?
Oh, totally.
Okay, excellent.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
You remember?
Oh shit! Oh no! Got 3.
So as you're typing it up, Wicker Man Nicolas Cage walks up right to, and the guard sees you.
I don't say a word because I'm wearing a disguise, and you don't
Oh,
talk
yeah,
when you're
'cause
wearing a
he's-
disguise.
yeah. He's walking, and the guy goes, "How may I help you?" And just at the moment, in a bright white light, an explosion goes off. And it's an explosion way too big for a guard shack. It's a small. You all are knocked to the ground as the shockwave hits you, but miraculously, Drive Angry Nick Cage's sunglasses stay on.
I also light a cigar on the floor.
Yeah. And Wicker Man Nick Cage becomes no more.
Oh,
Return
no.
to the ether in a bargain bin of DVDs in a Best Buy near you.
Goodbye.
I pick up the badge.
But the guards is taken care of.
And I'm still eating the pigeon. That's
I mean, your Drive Angry Nick Cage is kind of leading
me along still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems conveniently that this building has a large gas supply with several pipes entering from the outside of the warehouse, and it seems to be other than it was trying to keep low key. So you can decide what you want to do with that information.
I would like to begin a montage of us clearing the warehouse of bad guys, set to just like early 2000s butt rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kind of like, as a group, like, cut back and forth, get like a couple of like the long, running shots where we have several people killed in one go and like people tumble off of balconies and crap like that.
All right. Yeah, this is probably going to be some kick some ass, and anyone can do a help out roll instead. If they want to help out Drive Angry Cage.
That's under cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
3.
11.
9.
6.
All right. So there's enough good rolls in here. So we got a great.
Mine was 8, by the way.
Yeah.
I have a plus
thing.
1
You're
because I've been
killing
Everything.
everything. It's a sweet kick ass butt rock thing. It's by a band that could be Nickelback, but totally isn't because we don't have the license.
Legally distinct from, but
Legally
similar
distinct.
to.
Yeah. The lead singer is blonde. And you clear
Is it
it
a
all
golden
up.
retriever?
Named Crad Choger.
Was it that one song they have?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, on that album?
Yeah.
That one.
So
My grandma
as you
bought me
do
that
it,
album.
you all figure out how to rig the gas main, and you set it at a timer where Drive Angry Nick Cage sets a lit cigar near it, so as it burns down, it'll get to it, and you're all walking out of the building. And you all walk out with your backs to it as the entire building explodes along the Los Angeles skyline.
Can I roll for doves?
Yes.
Oh, now I get like 8. Wait. What? Probably add a cool point to that.
Yeah.
9.
Oh, yeah. So yeah.
So only
So a flock of doves flies up behind you, and they're black backlit by the explosion behind. And you have taken out one of the main factories of the Were Travolta.
I'm gonna roll
possibly
for-
weakening them.
I'm going to roll for cool because I don't want to look back while doing this or else it loses the coolness. I just want to reach up and grab a dove out of the air. I rolled a 6, so no dice.
So as you reach up, you just like catch some shrapnel from the explosion in your hand, and you pull out, and there's like just a single long piece of like pallet wood like right through your hand.
My one weakness, a wooden stake.
Yeah. You notice the ground next to you from the explosion lands a walkie-talkie that's still flickering with sound and life from the explosion, maybe from one of the guards.
I'll pick it up.
All right. On it you hear, Johnson, what's going on? Report. Is Plan Broken Arrow a go? Yes, thank you for who got that reference.
We lost her.
Castor Troy, motherfucker, and they shoot it.
So Castor Troy shoots. You don't need to make a roll to shoot a walkie-talkie. It goes off, and you have dispatched one of the buildings, and you have a map to know where the other 3 locations are. And you also know that in the center, they managed to form a perfect pentagram around the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh. I say we go to another warehouse.
All right. So, travel montage across the thing. They're still in the sweet muscle car from Drive Angry, Nicolas Cage. More of your legally distinct butt rock.
I'm desperately trying to turn into a bat, so I'm just running after them, flapping my arms.
So
occasionally crawling.
The car pulls up to the outside the warehouse, several miles behind. Vampires, because Nicolas Cage is running. His Florsheim shoes are got holes in them, and he's mostly like
very bloody.
He's very ragged,
very covered
but
in blood.
His seemingly supernatural or insanity-driven strength keeps him going. He'll arrive eventually. So you're at the next warehouse. This one doesn't seem to have a guard check at all, but conveniently there's a large truck out front that says Big Top Fireworks.
I shoot it.
But it's just out. It's not inside the building. It's just
Okay,
out.
let's drive it inside and then I shoot it.
All right, so this is probably going to be either act under pressure or kick some ass, depending on how you want to do it. You just want to maybe, do you want to drive it in guns a-blazing, or do you want to drive it in maybe with some uniforms of some delivery people or anything? You know, there's more than one way to skin a cat here. I just given you the puzzle pieces, and how you want to put it together is up to you.
Fuck it, let's just drive it in.
All right, this is going to be some kick some ass roll. I'll give you a +3 for having a van made out of fireworks, basically. Does anyone else want to join Castor Troy in this endeavor?
No.
You see a warehouse off in the distance, Vampire's Kiss. You're still not there, but you're pretty sure your friends are still there as you're running.
Got it. I keep going towards it, I guess, flapping away.
Can I add my assassin?
Yes, totally.
Okay, and what am I rolling against?
Probably, we'll call it cool or sharp, whatever's higher.
No, we'll do sharp. Okay.
Sweet. Because you're using your brains to kick ass. He's a master criminal.
That did this me. Ooh. 13.
13, yeah. So Castor Troy gets into the van and floors it and drives right at it and gives a big crazy-eyed look. And the camera looks right on him as you see the lights of the warehouse. And just at the last second, he opens the door and tucks and rolls out of the van, and it crashes into the warehouse. And then in the distance, Vampire Kiss, Nicolas Cage, you see the most beautiful fireworks show ever, set to a nice like sonata, like classical music is playing and everything. And the aria part of it, we cut to Castor Troy singing along with the words and the high notes as he grabs his crotch.
Hallelujah! Yeah.
Is the explosion in slow motion?
Of course.
Just wanted to clarify.
Defeated another one. This time, a man mostly on fire is walking out of the house.
Oh, shut up.
And he walks and he falls flat right in front of you. And he is, what's charred remains, he has the Travolta Punisher logo as well.
I want to take the face off and wear it.
So you cut off this piece of Kevlar and fashion some kind of wicked Halloween mask with some shoelaces around your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you all like to do?
I think we're gonna raid this warehouse and see if we can stock up. Like if there's, an armory here, gets
Yeah.
like some body armor.
Yeah,
and,
let's
like,
do
There's a
investigate.
grenade launcher. That would be perfect.
Let's do investigate a mystery to see what clues you can find in this case.
Oh, that's a 10.
Got a 9.
All right.
7.
So
12.
What you
Nice.
yeah, with those rolls, you find a trapdoor in the rubble of this thing. You open it up, and there's a staircase headed down, and there's a weird glow in the basement of this warehouse.
Does there happen to be a trench that's full of gunpowder that I can just kind of put a torch next to and light up the whole room?
Please say yes.
Yes. And it goes deep down underneath Los Angeles. And there's a rickety old elevator run by a rope and pulley system in the center of it.
I knew it.
If there's any Sean Beans there, I'm just gonna shoot them right now.
You killed them all last year. There's none left from last year.
Just checking. Just
There is
checking.
always a bean left.
I appreciate that.
It's usually Mr. Bean, right?
Yeah, just Mr. Rowan Atkinson.
Mr. Bean was the only one left last
All
year.
right. So yeah, you have this underground tunnel below you with an elevator system that Mr. Gates has illuminated for you, literally.
We'll explore.
All right.
See what we can find.
So as you go down, you see several shrines to various John Travolta movie characters. You see, the Battlefield Earth dreadlocked alien, and Pulp Fiction, and various other things as you go down. And there's this weird organ music playing as you enter
Hairspray.
the lowers. Yeah, Hairspray is also playing. And you reach the bottom, and there's a shrine to John Travolta below, and it has various articles of clothing and hair clippings and everything on it, and it's very eerie and serene.
I steal the best suit.
There is a very nice suit.
I take it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's going to fit me.
Yes, it fits you exactly, and now with your burnt Kevlar mask, you actually look exactly like John Travolta.
So I wanna search the shrine for a location that the pen fits.
Sure, yeah, that'd be investigative mystery.
It couldn't be this simple, could it?
No, it's
No, it's not.
That's the worst roll I've ever seen in my
You
life.
see various spots to jab the pin in.
5, by the way.
So Mr. Gates is jabbing the pin and pulling at several spots, and he's just kind of scratching the stone and everything around it. Nothing's happening.
Just as I suspected.
If anyone else would like to investigate a mystery, that's you. So most of the week you're trying to find things out and learn things. So you're investigating frequently. Or if you'd like to help someone out doing this, you can do that. Or if this seems to be a magical thing, if anyone would like to try and maybe use the magic of the John Travolta shrine, that's something you could attempt as well.
I would like to summon my gang out of nowhere and use investigative mystery to find out what I can from like the underground knowledge that they all have.
Yeah, all criminals know about the deep, like, black market and everything. Yeah.
10.
Yeah, so once again, Castor Troy's thugs come out, and they immediately pull their guns on you because they're like, whoa, John Travolta's character, you look just like him. Who are you?
I just take the. Are you idiots?
Boss. Whoa. What can we do for you, boss? This is a convincing disguise.
Well, look
like, it's not even, I can't believe, like, you're different heights and everything, but you just, like, like, body types are different and everything, yet it's so convincing.
Yeah, it defies all its explanation. It's great.
So they start tearing the room apart, looking for items, and they find something that may be a clue to John Travolta's only weakness. Male masseuses.
Oh my god.
There's a list of them in Hollywood, and which ones, and there's detailed instructions how to avoid keep the boss away from these. As he becomes putty in their hands. I'm sorry, everyone.
You are not sorry.
I'm not totally bringing attention to a long hidden Hollywood rumor.
I will take the list of male masseuses and I will look them up in the phone book.
How would you like to look them up in the phone book?
Well, it's pretty easy. You just have to look them up alphabetically. It's easy, you know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. It's easy.
Yes.
You're screaming again, and I don't like it when you're screaming.
How can you misfile it?
And there's the screaming again.
Melissa and I might need a moment there. If you've not seen the cinema classic, Vampire's Kiss, it's a $3.99 rental on Vudu. I highly recommend it.
It's terrible and glorious. It really is.
So somehow between the magic of the filing expertise, you've noticed a pattern, and it's not actually the masseuses that are a weakness, but it just says.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
He's gearing up for maybe a pun.
and the wind up and the pitch.
Hold on. It's definitely a pun.
It's a beautiful day here in Cage Park. Kyle Decker's up to pitch. He's on the mound today. Of course, when it comes to delivering puns, he pitches a 2.34 ERA at 12:37 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Let's see what he's got as he approaches the mound.
I'm not going to give you all the satisfaction.
Roll for it. He rolled for it. We're all going to roll for it. I'm going to charm you into this one. I got an 8.
Yeah, I rolled weird and got a 10, so.
Oh, I also got a 10. I can't do math.
Yeah, I got an 8 too.
All right, so
I have an 11.
Oh yeah.
Hit us, Decker.
His true weakness. This is why he's hanging out in the Hollywood Bowl. What's something that always is found with a bowl, especially a bowl of soup? A spoon. His weakness is a spoon.
Oh.
I knew you'd all hate me.
This was not worth the wait.
And it's a swing and a miss, folks.
I mean, if I was a pitcher, it was probably a hanging curveball that ended up in the cheap seats. That's why I was not wanting to tell you, because I was embarrassed. I was very, very embarrassed.
And we are too now, Kyle.
We all rolled to help out and share in your share.
I'm just glad that Wicker Man Cage wasn't here to hear that. I'm almost glad they died in the explosion.
So
we broke Melissa.
Armed with this information, silverware, where will you go? There you go. There's a pun, you fucking asshole. Before we leave.
Oh, no.
I do. I'm kind of glad that I made you regret a pun. Like, I'm going to count that as a personal victory.
You're welcome.
Before we leave, I will make sure to urinate on the John Travolta statue.
It's a awkwardly long scene. Like that. So the
also
scene
a
of the
3D money shot.
urination probably should have been like a 3-second cut, but the editor realized they were really struggling to get to that 80-minute feature length, so they made that scene an awkward 47 seconds long. And you realize it's just looped. So they didn't actually be that long. Like, you see the same
PA
bug
from the side pouring apple juice.
The only clue is you see the same bug crawl up the wall and then it goes back and it crawls again, and only the big cinema nerds catch. And you all are witnessing this as like the live editing happens.
Does he eat the bug?
I sure do.
Also, to prepare for the fight, I'm going to use my devil magic to remove the stake from Vampire's Kiss Cage's hand.
All right, let's see what happens to your vampire magic.
That is still
or
there.
devil magic.
I have a 5.
Oh.
So
Here, let me help with that.
So flames shoot out of his hands and surround you, and you're lifted up. And a light beam comes, and your plastic fangs dissolve, and real fangs start coming out of your teeth.
Oh my goddamn vampire!
Your wounds start healing over. And you return to the ground, now actually a real vampire. You're still crazy. Yeah,
So
he
you're good
turned
or
you
what?
into a vampire.
Cool.
And you know the weakness of
Thanks.
where Travolta is spoons. I'm just gonna own that now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We'll put in like 3 quick shots of us throwing gear into the trunk of the car before we go, so that like we just imply we found some.
One of them's just a giant bag of flatware.
Yes.
I presume I'm already in possession of a cocaine spoon.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's not all right. So
I bring it out from inside my shirt and wear it outside. Like
after you raid the crate and barrel for all their silverware, you're driving towards the Hollywood Bowl and you pull up to it, and there's eerie, weird. All the spotlights are going back and forth to attract something happening, but it's lifeless and everywhere. And you pull up, and in the middle of the stage is a giant hulking creature. It's John Travolta, but it's an 8.5-foot tall John Travolta.
My God.
Hunched over. What's that?
Does he have dreadlocks?
He indeed does have dreadlocks. And he in the back of his pocket, you notice a contract from the Church of Scientology obligating him to make this movie.
I also have that contract, a replica of it hidden within my house.
And he looks at you, and the battle is about to begin.
Side note: if you're not saying it's actually spoons and we have to spoon the John Travolta, I'll be very upset.
I mean, you have to use spoons in some way.
You were the worst.
Is my cocaine spoon gold? I presume it is.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well, let's do this, guys.
I'm going to charge at John Travolta, well dressed as John Travolta, a cocaine spoon in one hand and a gold.
Would anyone
gold
like to
gun in the
help?
other.
Caster Troy here kick some ass with a help out roll, or are you just gonna let him run for it?
I'll help out.
All right.
Oh boy, I will not help out.
RPG question, but are there any girls here?
Oh no!
As it turns out, John Milton performs much better in a fight mid-coitus.
I I had almost erased it. No, I never can erase that scene from my mind.
I roll a 12.
All right.
7.
This is so what has happened.
I rolled a 3.
9.
Oh.
So this is what happens for this moment. Castor Troy manages to launch himself full speed. There's definitely the stunt team had some springboards and everything. They knew what they're doing, and he leaps and as almost if on wires, flies through the air, firing his gun, not hitting anything with his Coke spoon pointed straight forward at the Were Travolta.
It's like the Sistine Chapel image with the extended finger.
Yeah. Vampire kiss Nick Cage. You're going to help, and then you pass a mirror on the way, and you realize you actually don't have a reflection.
I can't see my reflection.
And you stop to have a conversation with someone there once again. Who are you having a conversation with?
I can't see him. He's using the toilet. I'm in the bathroom. The Castor Troy impales his golden Coke spoon directly into the left eye of giant Scientology John Travolta. He screams in pain, and you fall to the ground with a cool cartwheel, and then slowly stand up in your 3-point landing in slow motion as a dove flies behind you. I get out of the bathroom and I grab the dove.
Yes, you do. Would you like to search for like a truck stop hooker or something to perform your best fighting with? I mean, this is all in these movies, guys. We're not pulling that much weird stuff.
It's true.
It's true.
I do recommend Drive Angry. It's bonkers.
Yeah, it's very wild. It's dumb from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's gloriously so.
I mean, if that's a possibility, that seems kind of apropos. But if not, I mean, I'll just you
can just. I mean, he just killed the cult like with guns. I think didn't he?
Yeah.
So would you? Now we're just rolling to fight Were Travolta. He's going to get a turn here, but since you all surprised him, and what weapon would you like to use?
The God Killer, the Devil's own gun.
What kind of ammunition would you like to use for it? Would you like to roll? I have something. We're going to do some movie magic to where we show your prepping montage. Ben, would you like to help out this one?
Sure.
He needs help crafting a unique bullet out of maybe some metal you have lying around from Crate and Barrel.
I'm rolling help out.
Yeah, or would you, if you just like to describe how Ben Gates would make a bullet out of spoons, I'll let you do it without a roll because I just want to hear you describe that.
Yeah.
Well, originally the Freemasons had developed a technique where you could take flatware and melt it down because there was a point in time where cannonballs were highly rare. So what they had to do is they had to raid homes and they had to take the flatware, the silverware, any eating utensils, any metal at all, and they had to create a makeshift forge. And what they did is they took stones that they chipped into the right shape, and then they covered those in clay, and that created eventually a mold that was strong enough that they could melt this flatware into it and get the right cannonball shape. But because of the flatware itself, the metal was not hard enough to survive the shot, which was ideal because then the British couldn't fire it back. So we can utilize those techniques to create a bullet because I somehow have the engineering degree that lets me exactly craft a bullet that fits that gun, even though that is a hellish gun I have never seen before.
Yeah.
Cut back to real time after the forging scene, and in the God Killer gun, Drive Angry Nicolas Cage loads the spoon bullet, and takes a shot at the Were-Travolta.
That is a 9.
All right, you hit it in his shoulder, and it erupts and takes most of his shoulder with him, but he flares angry eye, a single angry eye on you because there's a Coke spoon in the other one. Not plural. And it's now his turn.
Oh boy.
First, looking at the helpless victim not paying attention, who's hunched over eating a dove. He makes an attack against vampire kiss Nicolas Cage, and he impales you with a large. He just rips one of the wooden benches, the Hollywood Bowl, piece of wood, and rams it through your chest.
Oh, that'll do it.
You're dead, but we would like, in true Nicolas Cage scene, we need to see your death. And what happens, and what does your character say? You have time to die because you're Nicolas Cage.
I have time to die. Finally! I'm away from this curse! And then I crawl under a sofa because I don't have a coffin. And I sit there and I just keep jabbing the stake into my heart as blood pours out of my mouth. Dove chunks still kind of all over my face. Blood all over my suit, and probably drugs too. I was probably hitting up some of the cocaine too, I imagine. And I just look at everybody and I say, "Carry on. The stakes are too high." And then I die.
Were-Travolta is taken aback by all this and feels a moment of humanity, and he is vulnerable. Would anyone like to take advantage of the situation?
Punch him.
Would you like to sell him some shoes?
I could sell him some additional spoons to distract him.
Yeah, go for it.
Great.
And let me know how to manipulate someone. This is a charm roll.
So I got an 11.
Hell yes.
So, out of the corner of the eye, you're well dressed and you have a suitcase full of spoons.
Sure do.
How would you like? And he's completely entranced. The twinkle in his single eye is directed at you.
Sir, what I have here is the finest in spoon cutlery. Spoon cutlery? Anyways.
Silverware.
Thank you. The finest spoon tableware that you can find, and it is 100% Phaeton free if you are of interest.
Oh, really? He says, and he sits down and examines the contents of the suitcase, exposing he's very vulnerable now. He's hunched over, and someone from behind could get behind him very easily as Matchstick Man Cage is working his magic once again.
Having exhausted my ammunition, my one shot from the God Killer, I will break one of the glass cases that holds a fire axe, and I will take it and I will hurl it with also 3D money shot with it into the back of the Were-Travolta.
Make your attack, and you can have a +2 thanks to your Matchstick Man Cage friend.
I'm gonna need it. 7. No. I have suffered harm, so it's +1 and +2, so that would be a 10.
So, in the pure slow motion shot, the camera follows the 3D axe direct in the skull, and then as the camera follows through inside the body, shot, the axe explodes, and the axe explodes onto the screen, and it splatters, and then through the guts forms the topography of the movie. And this has been Campaign Comedy Swipe. So thank you, everyone. Once again, our earlier in the show, we had Andrea Rapella. She had to leave, but she did in a blast. We have First Stirs, Eric Thompson, Lauren Haven, Melissa Karcher, Jacob Gulliver. I'm Kyle Decker. if you like goofy role playing by punch drunk comedians who are sleep deprived on a Sunday, that's great. If you like D&D, let's keep it going. Let's get our host back out here.
Thank you.
Keep supporting Die Laughing, and thank you very much, Fearless.
And check us out on hotchocolatemedia.net.